We have an exciting AFC South matchup here as the Tennessee Titans fly down to Houston and see if they can spoil their playoff hopes here. I am hoping for a Will Levis, CJ Stroud matchup. I think that's what we're all looking for here, and we want everyone to be healthy. We're going to break down the game and our predictions, but before we do that, subscribe to our channel and help us reach our year-end goal of 2,333 subscribers. If we hit that number, that's 2,000 new subscribers in this calendar year alone. We honestly can't even believe that it's a possibility. So thank you to everybody and join our growing community and subscribe and ring the bell to get notified of all of our 2024 content that will be coming out at the beginning of the new year. And Ryan, this game gonna be very exciting here. Love watching both of these quarterbacks. I love seeing CJ Stroud have the success that he's having. Will Levis having the success that he's having, because both of these quarterbacks, I think, were kind of CJ Stroud started to get like some hype, I think, in like late February, early March, like, oh, potentially he's the number one. But then come like the week of draft is like, oh yeah, that was all BS. Bryce Young is clearly significantly better. Like, he's the obvious number one choice at for the draft.
Yeah.
And it has been absolutely opposite. And I think the situation, CJ Stroud is in a much better situation overall in his overall weapons and offensive scheme. But in general, though, CJ Stroud has played phenomenal all year. And then even from Will Levis had a great welcome to the NFL type moment against my amazing Atlanta Falcons, who love giving up 4 touchdowns to rookie quarterbacks in their pro debuts. And I think has really took control of this offense. He is now going to be the face of the franchise after this year. And he's dealing with an ankle injury. CJ Stroud's coming off a concussion. So I hope that they're both healthy to play. If they are, let's go off the assumption that they are, because based off reports, they are trending in that direction. What do you think both teams have to do to come out victorious here in this week Sunday matchup and this week 17 matchup?
Yeah, well, I think Houston has the clearer path to victory, because I think when everyone's healthy, they're the better team. But so I'll start with the Titans here. They need to establish the run, get Derrick Henry going, and for me, run Will Levis off play action, get DeAndre Hopkins in space, and just kind of control the pace of the game. Because I think one thing that CJ Stroud has been able to do and do really well is get into a rhythm. And then like we've seen him go like 30 for 37 for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns multiple times this year. That's just because this offense gets into rhythm. Nico Collins has 8 or 10 catches. And then I believe who's the veteran on Houston? Is it Robert Woods?
It's Robert Woods. Yeah.
It is? Okay. I know there's another guy on Tennessee that confused me, but Robert Woods is another really good possession guy. And I know Tank Dell is out, but then you have Dalton Schultz as well, who's been playing pretty well for the Texans this year. And I really do think that this offense is one of the top ones in the league with CJ Stroud under center. And that's even with this offensive line being pretty limited in terms of personnel. So for me, Titans need to come in, control the game, get Derrick Henry involved, and get Derrick Henry successfully involved, and then get the ball out to DeAndre Hopkins on the outside off some play action. With that, Mike Vrabel always has a solid plan for that defensive front seven. This secondary is not very good for the Titans. Definitely one of the big things I think they need to work on is this offensive line and that secondary going into the offseason. So that'll be interesting to see what the Texans are able to throw at the secondary. But yeah, for me, the Texans have the clearer path to victory than the Titans. Especially one thing about Will Levis is he is a little bit of a gunslinger, especially at this stage in his career, where he will definitely just start throwing 50-50 balls around like it's nobody's business.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I kind of like seeing that too, especially considering like you have DeAndre Hopkins, and that's about it on that Titans team, and so they're looking to try and add on to some more skill position players overall. Probably going to be moving on with Derrick Henry in the offseason, which is unfortunate. Maybe they'll re-sign him here. They are going to have a lot of cap space, but they're in a prime spot here. They're going to have a top 10 pick no matter what. They're in a prime spot here to get a great offensive lineman, keep building that offensive line, because you're going to need to protect Will Levis. Last time we saw Will Levis was thought that he actually just absolutely destroyed his leg because who do they end up who do they play? But they just
that was the Texans, I believe.
Wasn't the Texans in that game? Did they play a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
But whoever it was just folded him up. It was because CJ Stroud, I think, was out
Yeah.
for that game. Okay, yeah. I forgot that they played that closely. But the Texans just kept providing all that pressure against this Titans offensive line that just couldn't protect Will Levis at all. So in this game, but also in the future, they're going to need to build and have some form of protection here. We were even talking about this before we went live. Skoronski has been well, but everybody else has either just been injured or just not performing at all. When it comes to the Texans here, I think losing Tank Dell has been a big blow to this offense overall. He has been that consistent guy that CJ Stroud, I think, could rely on just for quick, easy possessions, very quick and shifty. So losing him, I think, has been huge. But besides outside of that, though, this offense is still extremely effective as well. I think Devin Singletary has added an additional layer to like running the ball and also catching the ball out of the backfield as well. So I think they're going to be able to exploit that, especially with like the strength of the Titans defense, as you mentioned, is that front seven and the ability to scheme up kind of just good blitzes, good pass rush overall. So have that ability to check down to a good running back is going to be huge for them. I think CJ Stroud, they were barely able to win with Case Keenum. I think if CJ Stroud comes in this game, I think it should be a pretty easy performance here as well for the team. Oh, hello there. And so
I know. Hi.
hello. You're not giving
If you
her
watch
enough
some of our other videos, this cat will not leave me alone.
So let's get into our predictions here. And but as I said before we do that, we're trying to get to 2,333 subscribers. If we hit that number, that's 2,000 subscribers within this calendar year. Ryan and I can't even believe that is even possible. So help us reach our goal. And we're trying to do that by the new year. So we're under a week away. So like, subscribe, ring the bell to get notified when we create new content. We have a bunch of off-season content. We have a bunch of off-season content coming out, which includes a lot of Titans and Texans opinion commentary, so to say, on what we think they should do in the offseason and the draft. So, Ryan, let's get into our picks here. Who do you have winning this game and why?
I'm going to go with the Texans. I think they're just the better team. Will Anderson had an ankle sprain last week and missed the majority of that game, as well as Jonathan Grenard had a quad injury, and he had to leave that game. This cat is stuck in my sweatshirt. Stop it. This is ridiculous. All right. But yeah, and then CJ Stroud's coming back. Nico Collins had a decent game last week without CJ Stroud. And I just really think that the Texans are going to be the better team in this one. And yeah, they also beat Houston a few weeks ago. They also beat Tennessee a few weeks ago with all of these injuries. And Tennessee was relatively healthy in that matchup. And so I just think they're the better team, and this matchup is in Houston versus at Tennessee, where it was a few weeks ago. Yeah. So I'm going to go with the Texans.
I'm also going to go with the Texans here as well. It's funny. I guess maybe I just didn't even think about it because CJ Stroud didn't play in that game. But yeah, it was just a couple weeks ago when they played. And really, honestly, the main thing I remember outside of thinking Will Levis's career felt like it was almost ended after being folded up like that. I can't believe it was just a high ankle sprain. But leading up to that, we were even talking like they are providing no protection to Will Levis. So it's like there's that gunslinger aspect, yes, but also Will Levis is like, if I don't throw the ball now, I'm going to get destroyed. And he did. He did get destroyed. So I think it's going to be another close game. I think it's going to be a fun one to watch as well. Because even then, too, you go look at the Titans here. They beat Miami. But if you go back and look, they have played really well, especially going back all the way to when Will Levis started. Beat the Falcons in his first start here. Almost beat the Steelers. We're a couple yards away from beating the Steelers there. Tough game against the Buccaneers and then the Jags the following week. But then they beat the Panthers, lose to the Colts in overtime, upset win over Miami, barely lose to the Texans, barely lose to the Seahawks. Like they have been competitive the second half of the season ever since Will Levis took over. So this is by no means just a cakewalk. I think it's going to be a really fun game to watch. I hope both CJ Stroud and Will Levis play. Both teams are as healthy as possible. So I think this could be a really fun game to watch just in general.
Yeah. So we're both taking the Texans in this matchup. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe for the cat, as he was probably the most entertaining part of this video. But please go ahead and like and subscribe and help Tyler and I reach our goal of getting to 2,333 subscribers. I've put him down 4 times throughout the course of this video. Every single time he just jumps right back in my lap. I can't do anything about it. But please go ahead and like and subscribe and leave a comment down below on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Will it be the Tennessee Titans? Will it be the Houston Texans? And on that, we will see you guys next time.